Hi, I'm Mel, yes again. This is part 3 of my video diary information for beginners. And today I'm going to cover more of, I've covered the kit in parts 1 and 2 that I got for airbrushing. But now I'm going to deal with extra bits and bobs that I either had or have bought along the way. I went down to the art shop and very kindly Dayla and Roni came have this pad, and it very kindly says airbrush on it, and it's called Bristol board. I bought the A4 size. It was €6.70. It's 250 grams, so it's quite thick. It's very white. It's very smooth surface. So this is ideal for airbrushing, and it even has very nicely an airbrush illustration at the top there to show you what you can do with it. So great, I now have a surface to spray onto. They also had an A3 size, but I'm starting off with A4. I'm not going to be using that for quite some time, not until I have got to the point where I'm actually wanting to produce some drawings or some airbrush artwork that I want to keep. So for all my exercising and everything else, I'm probably going to be using just newspaper, or this is something else you want to have with you is kitchen roll. You'll be using that a lot, but you can also use that to spray onto when you're practicing. Just any old paper that you can get hold of, actually, to use for practicing. It doesn't matter. Obviously, if you can get larger sheets, great, but if not, then just get some A4 sheets and stick them together. I've got a tabletop sort of easel, so that's handy for when I'm going to be starting. But of course, you can just be airbrushing straight onto the onto a flat surface, onto the table. But I've got this. It didn't cost huge amounts. I think it was €20. I'm not sure, but it's a wooden, nice size wooden easel, tabletop easel. Also. Here is you want a craft knife for cutting out stencils. This one is actually a surgical knife. It has a detachable blade. You can buy these blades in most graphic shops that sell equipment for graphics and design, or art shops will probably have these as well. And a nice tip: I use an old rubber to put it in, to keep it safe, because obviously these are extremely sharp. You can buy different models, the craft model, and you can get those from most craft shops, art shops, you name it. But you'll need one of those for cutting. You will also want a metal ruler for cutting. You don't want to be cutting with a nylon plastic ruler, sorry, because the chances are is that you'll actually cut into the plastic when you're cutting, and eventually you'll end up with squiggly lines. You don't want that. So a metal ruler. You can buy proper ones for cutting. They're heavy and they're thick, or you can buy ones that have a rubber backing so that they don't slip. I like to try and find ways of getting around these things. I already have 2 metal rulers, so I didn't want to be buying another one. I happen to have some self-adhesive neoprene, which I've stuck on the back of this one, so that I don't know if you can see that, it doesn't slide. If I turn it over and it's on its other side, it slides around. So this you can cut. The only problem with that is, though, there is a gap from the metal to the surface, and unless you're very, very careful how you're cutting, you can also get a squiggly line. You could try even just using double-sided tape and putting some of that anti-slip material on the back. But that's very handy to stop slipping, but you'll want a metal ruler for cutting, preferably. The other thing is this film. You can buy Frisket film. This is a whole roll that I bought. Again, it wasn't that cheap. I can't remember how much it was, but I did buy it a while ago. But it's very useful. You'll want to make. I use these for. This is the film here, the thickness. just peel it off the back. And this is one I made for my whale's tail, and you can see here I use this to put onto my canvas to keep the background white while I painted a background over onto the canvas itself, but then I could peel it off, and then I had a nice white background to do the whale's tail with. And of course you can use the other side of it, which is the background here, the other side of it, you can put that on to protect the background while you're working on the whale's tail. So that's an example of the stencils you cut out using your knife. You have to be quite careful when you're cutting these, of course, because you want to just cut through the plastic and not through the paper. But you will just have to practice and see how much pressure. You've got a good sharp knife, so I find it works very easily and cuts very well. If you get to the point where you haven't put too much pressure on, it means your blade is blunt and you need to put a new blade in. Okay, so that's this. You can also buy liquid frisket, they call it, which is a liquid mask that you can paint on for obviously difficult shapes and certain things. And that, once it's dried, you can rub that off once you've finished. The only thing I've heard is that you can't leave it on too long. It can cause some problems with when you try and take it off. I've never used it. I don't know if I'm going to use it or not. What I heard, another tip was that people have used just that rubber glue, rubber cement, which the cheap stuff you can buy for when you're putting photographs in photo albums, and it's that rubbery glue that you can actually just rub off after you've finished with it. Again, I don't know what that's like, but somebody offered that as you'd have to test it out, see if it works, but that would probably be cheaper than the frisket, I'm not sure. So, but it's another option, and it's readily available at most shops, that kind of rubber glue or rubber cement, whatever you want to call it. The other thing, of course, you'll want is just tape. I just use ordinary decorator's tape. If you're having problems in finding that it's actually sticking too much, and you want to loosen, make it less sticky but still hold things in place, you can literally just put it on your clothing. Just do that really, just to take some of the stickiness off, and then it should come off easier but still hold your work in place when you're using it. So let me have a look. What else have we got? These toothpicks, similar, or just cocktail sticks. These are use those if you're mixing in your paints in your cup. That's another little tip that people said. You put your couple of droplets in and then you just take a little stick and you mix it around in there. This cup might be a bit too small for mixing as I go. I'm not sure yet. I'll have to see. You can get this is a 2 milliliter cup on the top of here, and apparently this is a separate one, and I should be able to buy a separate 5 milliliter cup as well. The other thing people talk about is just cotton buds. Use that. Those can help with just cleaning up some areas, whatever. Handy to have around. I bought some extra pipettes. I showed you this one that I got with the kit, which is a small one. These I just got from a local art shop, really cheap, slightly larger. Bought a couple of those. So ruler, paper, knife, you've got your kitchen roll. I've also got a little bit of an old t-shirt that I cut up, and a bit of a rag there. And oh, the other thing I didn't show you is a cutting board. I have this. This is one of those a cutting mat. Very useful. I've had this one for donkey's years and it's brilliant. Anyway, that pretty much rounds up video 3, and the next one hopefully is going to be my last one, part 4, and then I'm going to be talking about masks, because that's another thing that I found very difficult to get information on, and I think it's very important. So a mask to protect yourself while you're painting. So bye for now, and see you in part 4.